In this screencast, I would like to teach everybody how to make a Google form using Google Docs. So the first thing that you want to do to make a Google form to collect, organize, and catalog responses from students or colleagues or family members or friends, anything you'd like to use it for, is open up the internet. So I'm going to go down here and I'm just going to open up Safari. And then you want to go to Google Docs. So I'm going to go to Google first. This is the way that I always do it. Click on More, go to Documents. Okay, and I'm going to log on using my Google account. Allow. There we go. Okay, so if you've never made a Google document before, it's basically just like Microsoft Office in that it offers you a lot of different things. You can do spreadsheets, simple text Word documents, you can do PowerPoint presentations, but because it's all stationed online on Google's server, you can use it as a collaborative tool as well. And one of the most unknown features of this is creating a form. So the first thing I want you to notice is here on the right is where the database of all your Google documents are kept. Here's a spreadsheet that I have. This blue one is a document. Down here we see slideshows, drawings, and I'll show you how a form is cataloged in here in a moment. So the first thing you do is go up here to the top left, excuse me, and click Create New. Notice that this is where you can either make a document, a presentation, a spreadsheet. Here's the form, or you can do this thing called drawing, or you can actually make a folder. So notice here on the left, I've made folders where different collections of this whole database are kept. For instance, all my Toro documents are in this folder. All my AP Chemistry documents are in this folder. Okay, so I'm going to go back to all my items. I'm going to click Create New, and I'm going to make a new form. Okay. And this document's going to come up. The first thing I want you to notice is the themes. By clicking Theme, you can choose from many different types of themes. I'll let you scroll through that. I'm going to stay with the standard plain theme for now. So you put your title up here, we'll call this test. Here you can put some basic information. So please complete the form below. And you start adding questions in this region. So it starts off giving you 2 blank questions. So we go over here to the right, click this pencil, and we can choose the type of question we want it to be. We can have just a blank text box, paragraph text, which is a bigger space for people to enter in data, a multiple choice questions, check boxes, choosing stuff from a list, scale, grid, etc. So I'm going to do one of each so you can see what they look like. Click text. My question would go here. I can put some help text here. I would like to make this required, so I'm going to click this button and I say done. And this is what it looks like. Down here, I'm going to do a paragraph text. Question, I'll make this required. We won't add any help text there. Now that I've used up the 2 automatic ones they gave me, I'm going to put add an item. We're going to go ahead and add a multiple choice item. It's going to be a question, help, option A, B, C, D, required, done. Looks like that. Gonna add a checkbox item. Question, help, and option 1, 2. You can add as many as you want, even just adding 1. And you get the picture, and you can go down here and you can play around with all these other ones. I can move the questions around like this. Okay. So basically what I've created is a form that I can distribute to anybody on the World Wide Web, even if they do not have a Google account. And they can enter into this form, and I, only me, the person who created the form, can see their responses. So you can imagine there's a lot of opportunities for using this for online assessment with students. You saw in class I used it as a clicker. What I had was just two boxes for you, one where you entered your group number here, and one where you entered in your response. So if you notice down here at the bottom, I'll zoom in here so you can see this. You notice that it says you can view your published document here. So this link right here is what you're going to use to distribute this document, this form, to everybody on the World Wide Web with or without a Google account. So I'm going to click this, and here's what my form looks like. You notice it would look different if I had one of the templates that was given, but I like to stick with the clean form itself. So here's the form, and here's the URL to the form up here. So this is what I'm going to provide to everybody. Okay? So I want you to focus on this, but what's really important is where is this information collected? So if I go back to my Google Documents, okay, here's my form. I go back to my Google Documents, and I'm going to reload this page. If you notice, I have now a spreadsheet in my Google Documents, in my database, that corresponds with this form. So every single form has its own corresponding spreadsheet where the data is gathered. So each question, this first one, second one, third one, fourth one, is a column in the spreadsheet. So let me show you what that looks like. If I click on this test right here, I get this spreadsheet, and it gives me a timestamp telling you exactly when they turn in the form. Be sure that's useful if you have a time constraint or time parameter on when you want them to turn it in. And I have my different columns here. Now they're all called the same thing because I called everything on the form the same thing. But obviously that wouldn't be the case if you were collecting all sorts of data that you chose and named differently. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. I'm going to go to my form, and I'm going to enter it in. I'm going to pick A here. Here I'm going to type in my name. Here I'm going to type in anything I want. Blah, 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 blah to infinity. Here I'm going to pick 2, and now I'm going to pick submit. It gave me this nice message that says, thanks, your response will now appear in my spreadsheet. And you can actually go through and edit this response by playing around with the Google Forms settings. You can make it say anything you like. So I now go back to the spreadsheet, and here are my responses immediately. It was sent at, look at me, I'm up really, really late, 1:47 in the morning, Ramsey Mason, blah, 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 A2. So that's what the spreadsheet says. But I'll show you an example of one of my spreadsheets. And now this spreadsheet always lives here in your documents. I can drag it in here to Toro into my folder. But here's an example of one that's collected from my students. So this is a form that I made that I distributed in my chemistry class. You notice here are all my students' names. I had them put the block, which is the period that they have me, and here are all the responses to a 10-question test. What's great about this is I can now sort just like I would in Excel. So I can sort this in many different ways. Okay, I can sort ascending, I can sort descending, I can sort however I like. And this allows me to grade these things in a very useful way. You can also get really creative and add equations so the spreadsheet automatically grades itself. But the thing for you really to focus on is there's really two things we got going on. We have the form itself and the place where the form is collected.